Today, we're thrilled to welcome a true pioneer in the remote workspace, Vijay. Vijay has been working remotely for over a decade and is widely recognized as a remote jobs expert and remote work advocate. He is the founder of Remote Jobs Central, a mission-driven startup officially launched a few months ago, dedicated to democratizing access to remote jobs for talented people worldwide and helping them work from anywhere without any geographic restrictions. His insights and expertise have been featured in respected media publications such as Go Banking Rates, Interview Focus, and Hospitality News, and his quotes have been syndicated across major news outlets, including Yahoo, AOL, and MSN, a testament to his thought leadership in the evolving world of remote work. Welcome, Vijay, and I hand it over to you.
Yeah, Rob, thanks so much for the warm introduction. And it's a great pleasure and honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Sure. So I'm here to answer any questions you may have and, to enlighten your audience. So please go ahead.
I guess the question is with respect to remote work, how and when did remote work become the force that it is? People talk about COVID, and that's one thing, but there's also the economic efficiency of working remotely. When did it sort of become a predominant factor in the job market?
That's a good question to start with, actually. So, I mean, remote jobs or remote work predominantly has been in sync, or, it's been in the workplace for almost 2 decades now, but it has not been very popularized until COVID, where COVID actually put in a restriction in and where as to how people work and where people work. And starting from COVID, where people have changed the way how they work predominantly, a lot of transition happened in the way how corporate places function, right? And we have seen the corporate places shifting from an in-office model or a hybrid model to completely remote work setting where there were restrictions on when people can come to an office or where they can work and things like that. And COVID actually proved that work can happen anywhere and everywhere as long as you have right resources in place and as long as your job involves working in a computer and you have a good internet connection, work can happen anywhere. And that is a testament to the actual work that has happened during the COVID. But unfortunately, after the COVID, where there is a lot of return to office mandates, which happened, and people are literally being forced to come back to work. And that's what Remote Job Central is trying to solve here. We are of a strong belief that remote work is actually the future of work, and any company that does not prioritize remote jobs or remote work will obviously lose its talent to companies which actually help people work from anywhere, considering there is a lot of flexibility and more power to people as to where they can contribute to their company's mission from. And it need not be definitely it need not be in a brick and mortar office.
Okay. So what skills and roles are in highest demand for remote work right now?
I mean, again, if you talk about the skills and the roles that are actually in demand, a lot of shift has happened drastically in terms of what jobs are currently in demand at the moment. And they are completely different than what it used to be 10 years ago. And some of the roles that are in complete demand at the moment include developer roles like full stack developer or front end, back end developers, and people involving in content writing like writers and editors, marketers, and customer support and customer success functions, product management and project management. So there is a whole lot of different aspects of jobs that actually help move the company forward. And remote work doesn't have to be only for developers. It can be also be for non-technical people, like where a writer or a marketer can still get in touch with amazing companies that hire remotely and can work from anywhere. And we help in people doing that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you see, what are the biggest challenges in remote work and how can somebody overcome them?
Well, again, some of the challenges while working remotely can be overwhelming sometimes because Working remotely calls for incredible amount of self-discipline, professionalism, and good work ethics because you will not have your boss sitting on your shoulders and telling you what to do. So you will have to be like proactive
Hmm.
and take things on your own and start moving the needle because that's where it actually contributes in moving the needle within the company. And of course, like a remote work is far more tougher than going back to an office because in an office setting, you will have people to talk to and get help in real time. But while working remotely, you will be all alone and you will have to figure things out and you should be okay doing that. And in addition to that, you will find being lonely, but again, loneliness can sometimes impact your mental health. But of course, like, giving yourself breaks and making sure that you're not burnt out doing the job is very, very crucial while working remotely.
Hmm. Hmm. So there's this almost a sense of complacency, or that sort of may come with it, working from home, that you wouldn't have necessarily in working in an office environment, which
Exactly.
which could be an up. Yeah,
Exactly. I mean, like, as I mentioned earlier, like, working from home or remote work is far more tougher than going to an office because it is 10x times harder because, like, you will have to figure out things on your own. And, when you ask for help, you may not get immediate help. And you should be okay dealing with ambiguity and you have to do things on your own. You'll have to fight for things on your own. You'll have to search for things on your own before some human can pitch in and help you. So
right. And then
you'll have to be like self-sufficient and resourceful, if at all I can put it in right words.
right. And then there are the usual, if you're working from home, the home place distractions that come with that, because you're working from home, you're automatically distracted by the television, the telephone, the pile of dishes in the in the kitchen, the laundry piling up.
Right,
It may you need a definite field of focus to be able to do that effectively.
right.
Okay. So when applying for remote jobs, how can one stand out, especially when there's so much competition? Competition is everywhere. I have my own opinions on it, but in the terms of remote work, how can you stand out from the competition?
Well, again, like, I mean, remote jobs is pretty competitive, especially in these days. So, of course, making sure that you are actually uh, being a right candidate to the company and showcasing those skills is very, very important. And when I say showcasing those skills, companies prefer somebody doing hands-on rather than like somebody like communicating that because people like to see things in action rather than going by the word of mouth because people need the actual proof of work and they can believe that you're actually the right person to do the job and you will have to convince the company that this can only happen like and that can only happen through your past work like if you're a developer you can show them your GitHub or if you're a designer you can actually show them your samples of your designs and if you're a writer, you can actually point them to any Medium publications or any blogs that you've written. So you basically point them to an existing work so that people can judge you based on that, not instead of like the words.
So remote jobs for people that are in the tech industry, seems to be a boon for them. But for people that come from more of a softer industry, human resources, human welfare, that type of thing, how can a site such as this help people in that category?
Sure. Yes, Rob. As I mentioned earlier, we are of a strong belief that remote work need not be only for developers or techies. Even the non-technical people working within a company function like HR or marketing or writers, we got them covered
Hmm.
because we at Remote Job Central curate jobs every week for many different categories, like to be very precise, like more 22 different categories. And
Hmm.
I mean, like as people are very different, so are their skill sets. So we actually curate those jobs based on their skills and we send it out as a newsletter and that definitely need not be only for the developers, but as I mentioned, it can serve many different categories within the skill set of a
Right.
company.
Okay. Um, so in general, where do you see the future of remote work heading, and how is Remote Job Central preparing for that evolution?
Sure. I mean, if you talk about the future of work, you can definitely not take away the remote work and its impact towards that. And the future of remote work is not just more laptops and people working from home, but rather it's a diabolical shift in terms of like where people predominantly work from and how they contribute to the company's mission. And
I see.
based on my experience, I see that in terms of like the future of work, I see the borderless hiring become the norm because companies are waking up to the global talent pool instead of defaulting to the local hires. And putting it on a global talent, they actually have an option to attract the best talent, irrespective of wherever they're coming from. And not
Mhm.
definitely people focused on in advanced countries like US or Canada or anything like that. And number two,
I see.
I see that talents and skills will be evaluated and will be prioritized more than degrees and the universities they come from. And as I mentioned earlier, the proof of work is far more important than a pedigree. And last but not the least, there are other 2 points like, more people are worried about AI taking over jobs. I want to highlight that AI is definitely reshaping workflows across many different categories, but let me inform you that AI will not overtake your job, but not knowing how to work with AI will definitely will. So, which means that you need to make sure that you need to learn how to work with AI. And last but not the least, we will see more transition from in terms of a regular employment to more freelance, contractual, and fractional work taking more roles in the future because many professionals will hold multiple roles across borders, and you can't definitely help that. And people are open to more work, and companies should be okay with that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is my prediction for the future of work.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I like to sort of think of it as there's no algorithm for rhythm, right? Rhythm is a very generic. Rhythm is something that is inherent. It is something you feel. It is something when you go out to the beach and the waves come in, they don't come in perfect waves. They come in large. They come in small. They come in, and they pull back. Like, and you listen to the sound of nature. If anybody gets too polluted in their mind about these kinds of things, my advice would be go outside and take a breath of fresh air and experience nature. How do you sort of, how would you espouse or give advice to people that get caught up so much in technology and algorithms and how important the perception of algorithms are when really the human impact is much more profound?
Sure. So you're asking me, how do I detach from tech work? Is that what you're asking?
Well, that's part of it, but the cascade of real, things that happen that are not pre-calculated and they're not, calculated through an algorithm. They're I guess it's the difference between something that's organic and
Mhm.
something that is predetermined. An algorithm will predetermine what these outcomes will be, where something organic grows from within you and, reaches out. So trying to meld the two together in terms of job searching, where the algorithms seem to have a heads up in terms of, ATS scanners and all of that kind of stuff.
Right. I get that.
How can you step outside of that?
Right, right.
Yeah.
I get that. So, I mean, talking about you beating the ATS systems, right? Like, I definitely understand the profound impact of as you have rightly mentioned, like, the algorithms maintaining a very constant source of like, showing you the next thing, like when you see something and, they keep showing you the same stuff. But at Remote Job Central, I add the human factor, the one that you said
Mhm.
it's actually missing in 2025 and beyond. So, in the age of I personally curate those jobs and I send it across because when I created this, I was wondering if there is something like that. I searched far and wide and I did not find any, so I created one. So all the jobs that you see in the newsletter are personally curated by me and it's personally vetted by me so that there is a high standard of uh, what do you call quality that is actually gone into this curation. And of course, like,
Yes.
when you receive those newsletters, my single most mission is to connect those remote job seekers to awesome companies that they have never heard before. And that is actually the profound truth that most of our newsletter subscribers at Remote Job Central, when you go to our Trustpilot page, which actually serves as a compass for the trust and belief that we have garnered from our users, it actually shows that people are like
Mhm.
overwhelmingly happy to receive our newsletter. It's actually like, they actually look forward to every single week. Like, when there is a delay of 1 week. I've actually had people ping me on LinkedIn and ask me, hey, are you okay? Like, we haven't received your newsletter. What's happening? So the
Right.
people are excited, like, every week. So that is actually the kind of product that you build and, you serve to people. So which means that, like,
Yes.
we don't prioritize algorithms, but it's actually a concept of human touch that is actually required to keep things pretty human.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you when you say that AI won't replace the workforce, but people that don't know how to use AI will find themselves,
Right,
will have a challenge.
right.
Right. Okay. Well, Vijay, I mean, those are the questions that I have for you, but I'd love to carry this dialogue on. Do you have any questions for me or any other dialogue or issues you'd like to discuss?
Sure. I mean, one thing I wanted to highlight is like, I am pretty much impressed by your work as a volunteer at the mental health institution that you're actually doing and prioritizing men's mental health. So one other point of thing that I wanted to highlight is, uh, I mean, like why remote jobs is very, very vital for men's mental health is because men actually often conditioned to be very stoic providers and they have been like culturally reinforced. And they are actually often misjudged or rather misjudged. You can pick up the words as per your convenience. But I mean, like, we just have to
Yeah.
make sure that, we actually create a safe space even for men to kind of like have good control over their well-being. And remote jobs actually helps them in doing that. And it actually gives them flexible schedules to support work-life balance and more time for family, hobbies, and room to decompress between meetings. And in addition to that, they can actually escape many toxic work cultures. Like they can actually minimize the impact on their mental health. And last but not the least, it actually provides them an avenue to become the role model as a father in their own families by spending more time with their family. In addition to that,
Mhm.
I'm also advocating creating a strong brotherhood related groups where men can interact with other men and share their good and bad and get some help. And that can actually profoundly like impact the mental health of any male. And of course, like as you know, the suicide rates among men are very, very high compared
They're very
to
high.
women.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it actually is alarming signal that we need to prioritize mental health for men as well and give them a
Hmm.
safe space to give them a positive environment to nurture them.
Right. Yeah. No, it's 100%, 1,000%. And that is what we sort of strive towards in conjunction with finding meaningful work. And I think a lot of that disconnect and those feelings that you just sort of expressed comes from a man who's no longer employed or has been laid off or whatever. He's used to providing for his family, and all of a sudden that institution or that ability has been taken away from him, and now he feels like he's a failure, and he's not contributing to society, and that leads to the downward spiral that leads to all kinds of different things: drug addiction, alcoholism, and God forbid, suicide. So we all want to jump in and make sure that doesn't happen, but I think it takes a village of voices to ring that point home. So
And just because
okay.
you actually have mentioned that, I also would like to highlight the same point that whatever things that you
Yes.
mentioned, like I fought those demons by myself, talking about fighting
Hmm.
bankruptcy or alcoholism or like being homeless. But still, I chose to become a better person or a better version of myself, and that's where like I actually started Remote Job Central. I actually wanted to bring my skills and do something, create something valuable to the society. And in the midst of all these scams and other shady things happening in the name of remote jobs, I wanted Remote Job Central to be a safe space for people to look forward to genuine remote jobs. And yeah, and through your space, I wanted to highlight that anybody looking for remote jobs, they can actually sign up at remotejobcentral.com. They can actually sign up for the weekly newsletter. And moreover, it's free. It's forever free. Job seekers should never have to pay for jobs again. I've been like advocating this for long enough. So no matter where you are on this planet, as long as you have the right skills, you have good work ethics, you have good computer, good internet connection to handle video calls, we got you covered. So go right ahead. And if you're looking for some good quality remote jobs, go sign up at remotejobcentral.com and we got your back.
Excellent. Well, I am looking forward to my next newsletter update on Monday.
Sure thing,
And
bro.
yes, so is there anything else you'd like to discuss before we wrap it up?
Nothing much. I mean, it was a great conversation. I really enjoyed speaking with you and sharing some insights. So, yeah, thanks so much for having me once again. It's a great pleasure
Vijay, my
talking to you.
pleasure. My pleasure. We will talk again soon, my friend, and we definitely have, I think, a lot to talk about and a lot to share with the people that are hopefully watching this and those that will be newcomers along the way. So we welcome you all and thank you very much. All
You're
right,
welcome.
Vijay, you
Thank
take
you.
care, huh?
Thank you. Have a great
Bye-bye.
rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.